Well, good morning. This is another day here in the Twisted Knot Wood Shop, and today is a follow-up video on the one I did yesterday regarding the automated table mechanism that I have for raising and lowering the table on the drill press. And this morning on the IRC chat channel, Wood Whisperer, a bunch of us were chatting about that particular video, and one of them suggested the idea of not having to run around to the table to loosen the clamp in order to free up the table so that the motor or even the hand crank would raise the table. And that put a bug in my ear, and I spawned an idea excuse me, on how to do that. Well, if you own a drill press, you'll probably recognize this little item here. It's got a threaded bolt which goes into the collar of the drill press table, and then this little floppy handle here allows you to spin it to tighten the collar around the post of the drill press. And if you have an auxiliary table on the drill press like I have here, it makes it difficult because you got to swing around over here, reach down and grab the clamp, twist it, position the table where you want it, then tighten the clamp. And again, the video yesterday that I did earlier pertained to the motor here that raises and lowers this table. Well, Beamer, I wish I could take credit for this idea here, full credit. Beamer suggested the idea of having some kind of a function where you wouldn't have to go run around and twist that little bolt thing that I showed you earlier. And that's when I spawned this idea almost immediately. And Roger, another guy on there, suggested having a socket welded to some kind of a breaker bar or a ratchet or something like that you could use. But the problem is you would have to continually crank it back and forth, and the ratchet idea wasn't awful bad. However, it would the weight of it would tend to send it, away from the turning of the bolt. So I thought of this, and what it consists of is a piece of all thread that goes through the collar, and here's the threaded part over here. And then there's a piece of EMT electrical tubing. That's the idea. The ID of the EMT tubing is larger than the diameter of the all thread. And then over here there are two nuts. They're tightened together. And then this piece of oak is chiseled out to accept a captured nut in this case. And then a nut and a washer on this side to pinch the lever to the mechanism there. And then over here in the front, basically, the stick goes from the back yonder over this way, and it's got a little notch there and a little extension and a little thing here for your finger to grab onto. And basically, as you can see, the table moves freely. I reach down, I can push it down that far, and the table is locked. I just reach down and grab it, and the table is now free again. So it took me, I don't know, it took me a while to chisel out the nut for the captured nut more than it did anything else. And also, it's kind of finicky. You gotta. This is a 2-inch piece of EMT tubing here. The problem is you got to adjust it just right and tighten it just enough so that the table's loose, and then drill your hole in the board, and then slide it up to where it's tight up above, at the bottom of your front of the table there. Push the board in, and then reach back here with a pencil and mark where that nut is, and then go and chisel it out. Obviously, you're going to drill the hole first, to go over the all thread, but that would allow you to bump it up to the nut where you can mark it out. And I don't know, it probably took me a little bit over an hour to tinker with this, but it works fine. The table with the bar up, table still moves up and down like it's supposed to, and all I have to do is just push it, and it's hardly a quarter of a turn, and it's locked tighter than a drum. Well, there you go. And thanks Beamer for the idea and Roger for the extended idea. And anybody else who wants to make it, well, have at it. If anybody makes it down the road and will manufacture and steal the idea from me, well, we'd have to deal with that later. Thanks for watching. Bye.